Welcome to this video. My name is Alex, and in this video I'm going to answer the question, are you safe? Now imagine there's hundreds of wild, carnivorous, hungry animals around you, and someone comes along and they build a fence. So you've got this very strong protective fence that keeps those animals away. Inside this fence you've got all the space you need and it's safe. You know that these wild animals can't get in, they can't harm you, that you can live in complete peace and security because you know you're safe and you trust that fence to keep you protected. Now imagine that one day you decided to start going and dismantling that fence, digging up the foundations of the concrete and pulling down the panels of the fence. Wouldn't that be an insane thing to do? Why on earth would anyone do that? Because no one has a death wish. It's ridiculous. It's not something you would want to do. However, each one of us is doing that on a daily basis. Let me explain. When you are doing good, when the desire in your heart is to do good, to have a positive influence, then automatically there is this protective field around you, because goodness is the way of the universe. It's the way of God. And when you are doing good and your intention is to do good, even if you're making mistakes, even if you're faltering, when you're doing good and wanting to do good, then you have this protective fence, and no darkness, no evil, no negative energy, nothing threatening can come to you, can harm you. But really that's on the psychological level. That happens on the psychological level. It's our mind which has this barrier. However, as soon as you choose to think a fearful thought, as soon as you choose to think a negative thought, you are pulling down that fence. You are pushing over the panels, the protective panels of that fence. And you are inviting in these threats, these dangers, these ravenous beasts. Because it is our mind which is the fortress. That fence exists in our mind. And as long as our thoughts are in alignment with goodness, that means no negative thoughts, no angry thoughts, no judgmental thoughts, no aggressive thoughts, no critical thoughts, no self-defeatist thoughts, and so on and so forth. As long as our mind is in alignment with goodness, that means that there is positivity in our mind. There don't have to be thoughts in our mind. Our mind doesn't always have to be occupied with thoughts. When we're giving our attention to something, we are focused, or when our mind is relaxed and we're in a place of peace, then there are no thoughts, and that's fine. But as soon as you start choosing or engaging with negative thoughts, then essentially those thoughts are persuading you without you even realizing it. They're saying, come, listen to me, believe this negative story I want to tell you, believe this threat that I want to tell you about, believe that it's real. And when we believe it, we are pulling down the protective fence, which is really guarding our heart as well as our mind. And then that negativity comes in through that removed panel of the security fence. It comes in and it gets into our heart, and we feel afraid in our heart, or we feel angry in our heart, or we feel sad or resentful or hopeless or any range of negative emotions. We feel that in our heart because we've taken down that fence by believing that negative thought, or just by listening to that negative thought. So, that protective fence is there. Now I need to add, I said when you're doing good, when your intentions are good, when you are in harmony with the divine will, which is to do good, essentially, goodwill. Call it goodwill. When you're in harmony with goodwill, as opposed to bad will, having bad intentions. When you're in harmony with goodwill, then that that fence is automatically there, as long as you're not trying to pull it down by listening to negative thoughts. However, if you are not desiring to do good, if if there is a desire in your heart to do bad things or to be deceptive, to trick other people, to take advantage of other people, to manipulate other people, to punish or hurt or criticize or judge other people, then you are not in harmony with the goodness. You are actually choosing to ally yourself with bad forces. By choosing to judge, criticize, be angry and so on, you are choosing to work with those beasts. You're saying, okay, beasts, let's work together. Okay, carnivorous, ravenous creatures, let's work together. Let's be harsh, judgmental. Let's be mean-spirited. Let's be unkind. Let's be angry. Even if you're choosing, even if you're in a state of hopelessness and negativity, you're still aligning yourself with those creatures because they're creatures of darkness, so to speak. And you're saying, okay, let's work together. However, perhaps you can work together with these creatures. This is a metaphor, of course. Perhaps you can work with manipulation and judgment and harshness and criticism and ill will. You can work with that for a while and it seems to be okay. Hey, I'm getting away with this. Hey, I'm getting what I want. I'm teaching these people a lesson who did me wrong, and I'm punishing these people who hurt me. And you feel like, yes, I can harness the dark forces, but they'll always turn around and bite you. They'll always turn around and hurt you. They'll always turn around and go for the jugular and pull you down into the darkness, always, without fail. So that's a warning. That's a warning for anyone who thinks, yes, I can be mean-spirited and get away with it. You can't. It always turns around and bites you in the back, bites you in the neck, or bites you somewhere painful. So this is why it's very important you don't harness those forces or don't get involved with those creatures of darkness, those creatures of negative influence, which exist in your heart. When you have a negative desire, when you desire the suffering of somebody else, when you desire that somebody else experiences anything but love, then you are working with those dark forces, those destructive energies. So this is why it's vital to work in harmony with the goodness, to have goodwill in your heart and in your mind. Now, of course, we've all been hurt by people, and we all find it very difficult to forgive people who have hurt us, and our tendency is to want to pay them back, want them to suffer, want to punish them. And that's very destructive because it just does exactly what I've just described. It stops us experiencing the safety, the peace, the tranquility, the protection that is there for us and that we need. We really need this to be a happy, healthy and whole individual who is fulfilled and enjoying life. We need protection. We need to feel secure. It's vital we feel secure. Now there's one more thing I have to tell you which is really important. It's possibly the most important thing. Maybe I should have started with it, but I always say it in all my videos and it's vital. If you want to feel safe in this moment, so if you're feeling anxious, afraid, stressed, tense, worried in this moment, if you want to address that, if you want to feel safe in this moment, come out of here, come back to your body and relax your body. Why? Because it is impossible physically, emotionally, spiritually, any other illy, it's completely impossible to be afraid when your body's relaxed. Completely impossible. And that's a guarantee, a cast iron guarantee. Try it for yourself. When your body is relaxed, fear cannot be present because fear is tension. When there's fear in our body, that means there's tension in our body. You'll notice this. Whenever you feel afraid, notice what's going on in your body. Ignore all the merry-go-round of thoughts and come back to your body, and you'll notice that there's tension in your body. When you're afraid, your body is in a state of tension, and your heart is in a state of tension because it's resisting something it doesn't want. And resistance is tension. The only way to be in resistance is to be in tension. And that creates this feeling of fear because we're afraid of something, so we're resisting it and we go into tension. However, the moment you relax your body, and allow your heart to relax too, but start with your body, the moment you relax your body, you're saying, there's no threat. I don't need to resist anything. That's the most powerful statement of security you are capable of making. the most profound and powerful, fundamental statement of security is to relax your body. And then you cannot feel threatened. It's impossible to feel threatened while you're relaxed because it goes against the fight or flight mechanism. You're saying, I'm not in a state of fight or flight, I'm relaxed. Thus, there is no threat. And that negates the threat. Any threat that your mind wants to present you, the statement you make in your body by relaxing is stronger than that persuasive thought trying to tell you to be afraid of this thing in the future, or to be afraid of what someone else is saying about you, or to be afraid that things are going to go wrong, or to be... In fact, any negative thought creates tension in our body. Stress, anger, hopelessness, criticism, judgment, it all creates this state of tension in our heart. And so, we have to relax our heart. We have to relax our heart if we want to feel safe. Try it for yourself. Don't just believe me, try it for yourself. When you relax your heart, you feel safe. It's as simple as that. So whenever you notice that you're in a state of fear, don't waste your time in this labyrinth of thought. Come out of the thought and notice your body. Notice there is tension in your body, because there will be, guaranteed. And then address the tension in your body. Relax your muscles, relax your shoulders, relax your back and your hips. Put your hand on your heart. Breathe and allow your heart to calm down and relax too. And this is the way that you choose safety. You choose a reality of safety, which is a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you choose the experience of safety, it is a self-fulfilling prophecy. You will be safe, and you have to keep your mind aligned with that feeling of safety. Because you're choosing safety, you're choosing an experience of safety. Now your mind has to get in agreement with what you're feeling, and you have to stop listening to the negative thoughts, or stop listening to the thoughts which tell you there is threat, and say, no, there is no threat. I'm not listening to you. I'm going to ignore all of those thoughts telling me I should be afraid. I'm going to ignore all of them, no matter how convincing they are, and they will be convincing sometimes. They will really seem so real, these thoughts. But that's the illusion. The thoughts are the illusion. What's real is what you're experiencing in here. You know, our mind is going backwards and forwards, round and round, up and down, and weaving this reality in our mind, and we're lost in it. Most of the time we're lost in the reality of our thoughts. And all the time that's happening, all the time we're occupying this realm of thought, our emotions are like waves on the ocean being swept this way and that way by our thoughts. And no wonder at the end of the day we feel unsettled, we feel exhausted, we feel worn out, because we're not aware of what's going on here. We're thinking that this is the most important thing. It's not. Spend more of your time aware of what's going on in your body. And then when you master this fear response, or this anxiety response, when you master, which is actually very easy, choosing relaxation is actually very easy if we don't listen to our mind. Choosing relaxation, if we master our ability to choose relaxation in any situation, no matter how terrifying, we relax. No matter what the situation is, if we relax in the situation, we trust, and we take the appropriate action, but from this place of peace and trust, not from fear and terror, but we take the appropriate action from a place of trust, then reality follows suit. When you choose peace inside, reality adjusts to your choice. And that's the world we live in. Your world is adjusting to your choice in here, not in here. All this spiritual stuff about, imagine what you want and manifest what you want. It's wrong. It's totally wrong. The state of your heart is what manifests your reality. So that's why it's essential to have positivity in your heart, a good feeling, a feeling of peace, a feeling of relaxation, because you're manifesting that into the world. You're inviting more of that into the world. You're seeing the world from that perspective, because we see from here. primarily. That's the most powerful lens we have on the world, is through our heart. We don't realize it because we've been diverted into our mind. So this is why it's vital to spend more time here and allow relaxation to dominate, to be the king of your experience. Relaxation is the king. Tension is like the enemy trying to get in at the door, and we let it in. By taking down that fence, by listening to the negative thoughts, we take down the fence, we let the enemy in, and guess what? It pushes out the relaxation and the peace, and the tension takes the throne. The tension, which is fear, takes the throne in our heart, and it rules our kingdom, and then it rules our world, and we see around us, we live in a reality of fear, which seems just as real as any other reality, but it's created by an illusion. We experience it as real, but it's created by an illusion, which is the thoughts which tell us that we are threatened. So really what we should do is we should lead with our heart. So we allow relaxation back into our body and our heart. And then that is what leads our thoughts. Our heart leads our thoughts, not the other way around. We've all got it wrong that our thoughts create our reality or our experience. No, they interfere. Our thoughts interfere with our experience of reality, which should be an experience of peace and beauty and joy. This is the divine reality that God wants us to experience. A beautiful reality. But our thoughts interfere, just like the snake interfered in the garden. And it comes in and it says, you shouldn't be doing this. There's something better. Or, you should be worried. Everything looks nice and peaceful, but you should be worried about what's coming down the line, or you should be suspicious of this person or that person. It comes in and it interferes and it disturbs and destroys this peace because we take down the fence. We're letting the beast in through listening to those negative thoughts. So really, look at it this way. Imagine being in this beautiful garden, the Garden of Eden. And this fence is there. It's a protective fence, or whatever you want to call it, a hedge of protection. Now, when we go into our mind, what we're actually doing is we're walking towards the perimeter fence. We're going and standing by the fence. So we've been led into a place where we are much more likely to be able to pull down that fence because we're in our mind, and we belong in the heart, which is the center of the garden, which is the tree of life. Our heart is the tree of life, which is in the center of the garden. However, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, in which dwells the snake, which is the voice, which whispers to us and tells us, but you shouldn't trust that, or maybe you're not as safe as you think, or so on and so forth. It whispers to us from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, which is our mind, our thinking mind, our dualistic mind, hence the two-pronged, what's it called? The tongue of the snake is kind of pointed, dual-pronged. So we go to the perimeter where this tree is, up here, and we listen. We're so stupid. Human beings are so stupid. I include myself in that. We're not stupid. I'm sorry. Forgive me. We're so naive. And we need to become wise because we're being lured to the edge where the snake can whisper to us and encourage us to pull down that fence so all the snake's friends can come into the garden. Do you understand this metaphor? This is real. This is real. The garden is real. It's a spiritual place. It's a real spiritual place, which is a place of peace and tranquility and safety. It's God's gift to us. And we can dwell there easily, very easily, in complete safety and complete peace. However, we are walking to the edge where the fence is, where the tree is, where the snake is dwelling, waiting to whisper to us, to hypnotize us and persuade us to pull down that fence and let all its friends into this peaceful garden so they can run rampant, cause destruction and pain and suffering and misery and destroy the garden. Let's not do that. Stop listening to that snake. Stop listening to those thoughts. Come back into the center of the garden where the tree of life awaits you, which offers you everything you need. That tree of life offers you everything you need. Peace, love, joy, fulfillment, connection, everything you need. So stop walking to the perimeter, going back, and listening to that voice of the snake. Come back into the center. Dwell in the center. Strengthen your heart. This is very important. Strengthen your heart in every way possible. Any way you feel that strengthens your heart and keeps you more in your body. Whatever spiritual practice you find keeps you in your heart, in a place of gratitude. It's very important to practice gratitude every day. In fact, this is my favorite way of returning to the heart, is to realize what we've got. Realize what's been given to us. Realize how blessed we are. Even though, of course, there are things we don't want. Most of us have no idea how blessed we are. So gratitude is a very good way to come back to the center of the garden. Walk away from the fence. Walk away from the fence, because it's a dangerous place to be. And if you walk away from the fence, you will not hear the voice of the serpent whispering in your head, telling you all these lies. The serpent lies to us. Yet when we're in its vicinity, it's so persuasive, and its voice is so hypnotic, that it convinces us. It's like the snake in the Jungle Book. What's it called now? I can't remember the name of the snake. Kaa, is it? Kaa? I don't know. But this snake which talks to Mowgli, and he hypnotizes. His eyes go around and he hypnotizes. And Mowgli goes into this dream state, and then the snake wraps itself around Mowgli because it's going to devour him. That's wonderful. That's such a perfect metaphor for the voice in the mind, the voice in the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, which is a serpent, which whispers to us in its voice, which we call knowledge, which we call understanding. We think we're learning something. We think we understand something, but it's not. We don't need that. We don't need the knowledge the snake has for us. We need the peace in the center of the garden, the love, the tranquility, the beauty, my goodness, in the center of the garden, which is huge, by the way. The garden's huge. In the center of the garden, all we can perceive is divine beauty, and that's where you belong. And that's where I'm trying to help you remember and help you understand where you need to be so that you can experience perfect safety, perfect protection. But you have to trust that in the center of the garden, you are safe and that no harm can come to you. You have to trust that, because there will be doubts, there will be fears, there'll be loads of voices in your head and thoughts in your head saying, oh yes, but this seems so real and that seems such a threat, or I shouldn't be peaceful, I should be teaching that person a lesson because they hurt me, or I should be fighting these people, or oh my goodness, so many choices to pull us away from where we belong, what we really need, so many distractions and lies. You belong here, and that's the only place you'll feel safe, and that's the only place you'll experience safety. And we need to bring our mind in alignment with that peace so that it is not pulled left and right into all these different thoughts. Keep your mind focused. Keep your mind, if you want to have something to occupy your mind, thoughts of gratitude. Be thankful. Think non-stop. Whatever you're doing, if you're washing the dishes, thank you for this warm water that enables me to wash my dishes. Thank you for these dishes so I don't have to eat off the floor. In your bed, thank you for this soft bed. That means I don't have to lie on concrete. Thank you for this cover, this duvet. Thank you for the warmth. Thank you for this room, this roof over my head. We can be in gratitude all day long. And that's really, in an idealistic world, which we are moving towards and which we need to move towards, that's really where our mind needs to be, in a place of gratitude. And then these thoughts won't distract us anymore, those negative thoughts, telling us to come out of gratitude and be angry. Look at what we don't have. Look at what is going wrong. Look at what we should be angry about. Look at who's hurt us, and come back to and align your mind with your heart. Bring your mind back to this place of gratitude and restore yourself in the center of the garden. Come back to the center and enjoy the peace that is there for you. This beauty, this paradise. It is real, and it's experienced in here. It's not out there. It's experienced in here. And from that place, the world looks completely different. The future looks completely different. Our vision looks completely different. But we have to be in that place for that change, that transformation of consciousness, That change of consciousness only occurs when we are in the center, looking out from the center, rather than at the edge, looking out through the fence, which is what we're all doing, which is what the media is doing. The media is like saying, look into the darkness, look beyond this protective fence into where the danger lies. So it's giving us a window into this reality outside the garden. And it's saying, look, this is going to come into the garden. This is going to threaten your peace. This is going to threaten your life. This is going to threaten your safety. This is going to bring you suffering and misery. But that is all out. That is outside the fence. And it doesn't need to come inside. You decide whether it comes inside. Yes, it's there. Yes, there's misery. Yes, there's great suffering and tragedy and horrific things. However, we do not need to let that in. We do not need to break down the fence and let the garden become like that. We have to protect the garden. We have to guard the garden. And we do that by staying in the center. Because it's our mind which is the threat, our tendency to want to engage with negative thoughts, thoughts of fear. That's the threat, our tendency to fall into the hypnotic spell of the snake. That's the threat. So come away from the edge, come away from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, come away from the serpent. Relax your body. Always come back to the relaxation. Relaxation is your anchor. Because you cannot be afraid in a state of relaxation. You affirm the reality of peace and safety by relaxing your body. So practice this throughout the day. It's the most important practice. The practice for your body is to come back to relaxation. Away from tension, back to relaxation. The practice for your mind is to come away from negative thoughts and back to thoughts of gratitude. All day long. This is the ideal, this is what you're working towards, this is what you need to be working towards. You will falter, you will struggle at times, you will miss the mark, or sin, which means miss the mark, and you will forget. But remember these words. Bring your mind back to a place of gratitude. Bring your heart and your body back to a place of relaxation. And then you will dwell in peace. Then you will dwell in the garden, which is real and which awaits you right now. Are you choosing it? Are you going to be choosing it today? Because this is what the day is for. This is the greatest choice you can make with this day is to align yourself in the center. Move into the center of the garden, away from the perimeter fence. Come back to the center. Right now, relax your body. Feel that relaxation flow deep into your heart. This isn't just something to do for 5 minutes and then go back to your stressful life. This is a new way of living. Living from trust, which means no threat, which means relaxation. Choose relaxation and you choose the reality of trust. You choose the reality of no threat. So choose relaxation in your heart and your body. Whenever you notice that you're straying away, come back and relax your body, relax your heart, and then bring your mind back into alignment and be thankful. Say all the things you're thankful for. Ignore all those thoughts which want to tell you to be angry, to be afraid. Ignore them all and come back and align your mind with thoughts of gratitude, which brings you back out of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, back to the glory, the beauty, and the peace of the tree of life, which is your own heart. Okay, thank you for listening to me. I wish you well, and God bless you.